Um, Here's a good story. My buddy, okay, my buddy is in his church and he's biblical. Um, this prophet comes and he says, I feel like I have, words from God for people. And so the pastor, wanting to sort of respect the gift, I'm not going to say it was wrong. I wouldn't do it if I was the pastor. I wouldn't just let some self-proclaimed prophet just speak. I wouldn't do that. However, he did. This guy starts praying over people and giving words of prophecy. And he says to my buddy's wife, don't worry, God's going to give you a man someday. You just hold in there. And my buddy said she could have just looked at her finger. She had her ring on. Okay, and this guy was saying wild things to everybody. He wasn't talking for God. If he would have just looked at her hand, see what I'm saying? You have to be very, very careful when people come and say, I have a word for you. I have a prophecy for you. Piper tells a story about this lady who claimed to be a prophet. She came to him and she said, I have a letter for you from God. When I write in this kind of style, it's God. And the letter said that your wife's pregnant, and he said everybody knew that. That wasn't some new thing. But she said that she's going to give you a daughter, and she's going to die in childbirth. Okay? Well, he had a son, and she didn't die. Okay? But immediately he was devastated because he was trying to respect the lady, and he just was you can imagine. Okay? So you just have to be real careful. I've been in churches where, just spiritual gifts have been abused. Just highly abused. Okay, people get visions and people get prophecies, and just watch out. Okay, be careful. I'll give you some specifics next week. Is that cool? I don't want to give everything away tonight. Okay. So let's go back to Romans 12. We only have like 3 minutes left. I'll save some of the stories for next week from my own personal experience. Back to Romans 12. Verse 6. We have differing gifts according to the grace given. What are you laughing at? Oh, I'm sorry. Were you trying to take notes the whole time? Oh, why did you say something earlier? We got like 3 minutes left. The pen's just sitting there. Oh, so you guys are both trying to take notes and there's no pen. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It's just sitting there the whole time. I'm sorry. I feel bad. All right, we have differing gifts according to the grace given us. If a man's gift is prophesying, let him use it in proportion to his faith. Okay, here's what we'll do next week. I know you're not going to be here, I'm sorry. Or will you be here and you won't? Neither of you. Okay, we'll tape it somehow for you. Next week, I want to get into like specifics and a lot of Bible. We'll be in Corinthians a lot next week because Paul does talk about this in Corinthians 14 a lot. So if you just want to go home and do some reading on your own, read Corinthians 14. Prophecy is sort of like the main thing there in that chapter, prophecy in tongues. We might save tongues. We might touch tongues next week. That's a whole nother beast. Touch tongues, yeah. That was funny. Tongues in the Bible, for those of you who have no clue what tongues is, tongues are what happened in Acts chapter 2. Foreign languages, you don't know the language, you speak it, and there's all kind of range of tongues, and that's another one that's highly abused in the church today. Highly abused. So let me say this. What you guys may have experienced as prophecy, and a lot of what's going on in the church today currently in what we'll call charismatic Pentecostal churches, is not the real thing. Okay, I'll just say it because I don't think it is. However, there is a real gift of prophecy. God does still do it. And we'll see next week. He says, don't despise prophecies. Meaning that Paul anticipated that we would despise it. And that false prophets would arise. And we would have a tendency, because it's so abused, to just throw it out. Okay, and honestly, that's what I would like to do, to be honest with you. I would like to just throw it out. Because it's been abused so much and there's so much danger in it that I would almost wish that it ceased. Now that sounds stupid, but it just creates, if you've never had it happen to you, be there when a false prophet is prophesying over all kinds of people and messing up people's lives, and you'll understand why this is a dangerous, dangerous thing. Okay, can it be used for good? Yes. Can it be abused? Yes, and it is greatly abused. So that's all for tonight. Let me shut this down, and then we can ask questions or